Believe me, as a farmer, everything seems to be against us, the people that are feeding you. Just have a think. Real food's produced by farmers, not factories. I'd like to tell you a little story about farming, food production and my family. So we've worked this land for 375 years. We've always believed in what we do. I've been very fortunate to work every single day with my father and my uncles, my cousins. It's a family farm, it's a partnership where we've been fortunate to work together in a beautiful part of the world. We are on the Snowdonia or Eryri range. We are a part which is called the Carneddau. It's the biggest open space in England and Wales, 27,000 acres. Many families have lived off this land. So we have a beef and sheep farm mainly. I do grow a lot of my own veg because, you know, I believe in sustainable, healthy, nutritious, seasonal food. These cows, intricate part of the whole balance of this place. And you ask why? I'll tell you why. Because the soil fertility up here is not going to be as good as anybody else. So we need the manure from these animals, and I'll show you why. Soil to get the grass to grow, to feed our animals. That's my manure and ruminants, cattle. As I said, we've got cows here, but as well we have sheep on the farm. We utilise some of the old wool dagging, some of the rubbish bits to go under the cows. That again adds more value to that fertiliser, to the manure going back onto the land to feed it, so the grass grows, and then we get that coming out the back end, which really helps us spend less money on artificial fertiliser. That's what we want to do. We want to be more self-sufficient. We want to go back to look at how our forefathers were producing food, and that's before agricultural revolution, which I think, yes, today half the food that's produced in the world will come from artificial fertiliser. It's a big part of what we do, but we need, I think, to wean ourselves away from this, look at more natural ways. Some of the natural fertilisers like seaweed, wool, manure is very beneficial to the ground, and I think, you know, the less chemicals we're putting into it, the better that food will be. I'm not saying everybody to go organic, I'm not saying everybody, you know, not to use fertilisers. I think it's something that we need to do. If you look at what they did in Sri Lanka, it was an absolute disaster when the government came in and pulled the plug on what was happening there, and people went hungry very quickly. So for me, looking at what Robert Kennedy's saying, there's a lot of facts there. Now, in this village, when my grandfather would have been alive, there would have been 3 butcher shops, but there would have been 3 little abattoirs where they would have been killing the animals for the shop, for everybody to eat. In comes a lot of legislations, in comes a lot of rules where you have to have a vet and paperwork. So a lot of these smaller abattoirs have closed. They've closed because they aren't financially viable. So that then takes a lot of that power. Yeah, there's a couple in North Wales. There's one in Blaenau Ffestiniog and there's one in Conwy Valley, in Llanrwst. But really, there should be a lot more of these smaller abattoirs, you know, employing people, so we're not shipping these animals all over the country to be, you know, killed. I think local abattoirs would be a big thing to go forward, and that food as well could be then sold locally and would create more money for the local economy. So if we look at what's happened as in mixed farming, so, you know, my grandfather would have kept about 10 milking cows. He would have milked them, and he had a little horse and cart, and he would have taken it around the village. I'm not looking at this with rose-tinted glasses. I'm not trying to push this, you know, on the agenda. But there is ways and means we can do this. So we've got an example of that with Hugh Clwyd. There is a video about Hugh's farm where I buy my milk I think we get it about 3 or 4 times a week, delivered to the door. Again, local farm who's gone out, got a pasteurising machine, got then some you know, milk rounds, got people working for him, and delivering this milk locally, fresh, healthy, very good milk, big lumps of cream on the top of it, how it used to be. So let's be asking these questions. How can we do this? How can we adapt? Well, we need 1, government support. We need 2, the consumer and the customer support. And if we can do this, like source more local food, I'm sure people would be a lot healthier, a lot happier, having that food, you know, delivered, or be able to know who's grown that food, or who's produced that beef or lamb or chicken or eggs. It can all be done, because food is not produced in factories, it's produced by farmers. These are the people with their hands in the ground, growing the crops, tending to the animals, making sure people are fed affordably. And across the world, we are being attacked left, right and centre. We are an easy target, and literally a lot of our farming friends, you know, farms are selling up, suicide rates going through the roof, mental health, young people coming in, there isn't any. So we need a farming food revolution. We need to look at the way we are doing things, and we need to challenge governments, we need to challenge supermarkets, and we need your support. I think there is massive changes afoot, and I think we are going to see a food shortage in this country and globally. We have growing populations across the world, more money coming into these, you know, poorer countries where they can now afford to buy a little bit more meat, a little bit more dairy, so it's pushing that. And, you know, other countries are pulling down the numbers of livestock. These are not the problem. These are not the problem. These are part of the solution. You have to understand that these are not causing any problems to our planet. They haven't in the past, and they won't in the future. We need to protect them. Anyway, have a wonderful Sunday. Keep supporting the farmers worldwide, making sure that everybody's fed healthily, nutritionally and very affordably.